up on Talking Points. Over 50 jurors have already been dismissed as jury selection begins for former President Trump's hush money trial. The latest developments from Manhattan.
And the U.S. government is on high alert after Russian hackers stole correspondence from Microsoft, how the tech giant is responding.
Plus, what you need to know about Arizona's Civil War-era law banning nearly all abortions. These stories and much more now on Talking Points. Iran has launched a direct military attack on Israel as the unrest grows in the Middle East. Good evening. Welcome into Talking Points. I'm Chilekasi, Adele.
And I'm Benjamin Schiller. Here is everything we know at the moment. In a Saturday attack, Iran launched over 200 killer drones, cruise missiles, and ballistic missiles towards Israel. The IDF has responded to the attack by intercepting the missiles at a success rate of around 99%.
Now, several ballistic missiles reached Israeli territory, causing minor damage to an air base. The Iranian attack was in response to an earlier Israeli strike on a diplomatic facility in Damascus, Syria. That attack killed 12 people, including 2 senior Iranian generals. It marks the first time Iran has directly launched a military assault on Israel in the country's history.
And at a sudden Sunday afternoon meeting of the United Nations Security Council, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres urged for a stop in the violence. He said the Middle East, quote, is on the brink of the people of the region are confronting of a real danger, devastating for a full-scale conflict. Now is the time to defuse and de-escalate. Now is the time for maximum restraint, end quote.
And we'll continue following the details on the crisis in the Middle East. We turn now to the developing story out of the Big Apple. Former President Donald Trump is in Manhattan tonight following day one of his historic criminal trial. CitrusTV's Luke Radel joins us now at the wall. Luke, what happened today?
Chile, Trump is facing 34 counts of falsifying business records to cover up an alleged affair. Prosecutors say that Trump did it to help him win the 2016 presidential election. And if you haven't been following, I'm here to tell you all about it. Let's take a look at the timeline that we have right now. Trump and adult film actress Stormy Daniels met at a celebrity golf tournament in Lake Tahoe, Nevada in July of 2006, just a few months after Trump's third wife, Melania, gave birth to his youngest son, Barron. Daniels was invited by Trump for a dinner at his hotel suite. That night, they had an affair. Nearly a decade later, Trump went from reality TV star to a presidential contender, and his sordid history with women took center stage on October 7, 2016, when remarks he made on a hot mic were leaked to the Washington Post. One day after that infamous Access Hollywood tape, Trump lawyer Michael Cohen agreed to pay Stormy Daniels $130,000 to keep her story quiet. Prosecutors say the connection between the Access Hollywood tape on the 7th of October and the payoff on the 8th is important. But Judge Juan Merchan ruled this morning that the tape itself cannot be played at trial after defense attorney Todd Blanche argued that these comments could prejudice the jury against Trump. Take a listen.
I better use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the. I can do anything. Hello, how are you? Hi.
Mr. Trump, how are you?
Now, whether the jurors in Manhattan are played that infamous tape or not, it may be difficult for Trump to find a jury that isn't prejudiced against him in the Big Apple. You're seeing on your screen right now that nearly 85% of voters in the borough chose Joe Biden in the 2020 presidential election.
Luke Radel now joins us at the desk. Luke, you know, no juror selected today in day one of the hush money trial. Tomorrow's day 2. What do you think prosecutors and defense attorneys are looking for their selective jury?
I spoke a little earlier today to SU law professor Rick Trunfio, who's the former assistant DA here in Onondaga County, and he talked about the interesting political dynamics in this case. So typically, in a case when you're doing jury selection, the prosecutors will look for someone who is a little bit more conservative, a little bit more law and order type, someone that's willing to convict someone, as opposed to the defense attorneys who look for someone who's a little bit more liberal, a little bit more lenient on crime. Those dynamics are upside down in this case because of the political nature of the trial. So Trump's attorneys are looking to find however many Republicans they can dig up in the borough of Manhattan, while those prosecutors are looking to find, you know, the MSNBC viewing types to convict Donald Trump in this trial.
And Luke, you mentioned the political nature of this trial. Obviously, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention that it's happening. This is all happening during an election year. What do voters think about the trial, and how does it compare to the other 3 felony cases?
Yeah, there's a lot of legal news swirling around the former president. This is just the first of 4 criminal cases that has actually gone to trial against him, and many legal experts feel it's the weakest, and they're not alone. Take a look at the CNN poll of voters who say that they are view these charges as being very serious. In the hush money case that involves Stormy Daniels, 36% of voters say that it's very serious. Compare that to the classified documents case brought in Florida. Half of voters believe that that's a very serious case. And look at those Georgia election and January 6th cases. People seem to agree that the most serious cases against Trump are the cases involving his efforts to overturn the last election.
Talking Points analyst Radel, thank you. You've been following this for us here at CitrusTV and Talking Points. Now to Washington, House Speaker Mike Johnson has had another difficult week. He is facing a revolt that it could cost him his job, and the prospect of sending additional aid to Ukraine has continued to have challengers.
Last Friday, he flew to Florida to speak with former President Trump in hopes of finding a lifeline. We bring in Talking Points analyst Peter Barry now to tell us what they talked about in that conference. Hey, Peter.
Well, Chile and Ben, Speaker Mike Johnson got a political boost last week by meeting with former President Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago. Even though their meeting was short, the main points they covered during a press conference afterwards were election integrity, the border, and what effects Johnson's potential ouster as House Speaker by Marjorie Taylor Greene could have. Trump's continued support for Johnson, saying he has a great relationship with the Speaker. Let's take a listen.
With Marjorie, it's not an easy situation for any speaker. I think he's doing a very good job. He's doing about as good as you're going to do.
According to Speaker Mike Johnson, election integrity and border security go hand in hand. There is a concern among House Republicans that illegal immigrants are saying that they are American citizens. If that were the case, they would have the right to vote in federal elections. And the House Speaker was also reiterating the open border policies of the Biden administration. 9 million encounters were reported at the border since President Biden took office, but Mike Johnson has been saying those numbers have been false.
The official number is 9 million encounters at the southern border alone, just since Joe Biden took office. But the actual number is probably close to 16 million illegals.
The Biden administration says the actual number is 6.3 million, and less than half of them were allowed into the country. Another huge issue that Johnson and Trump talks about is Congress voting to aid Israel and Ukraine. Some lawmakers want the aid to be direct assistance, while others want money lent to these two nations. The debate about how to help Ukraine and Israel has led to a lot of stalling by the House Republicans as they're going down to a single vote majority later this week, and it could cost Mike Johnson his job if he finds himself needing Democrats to pass these foreign aid bills. But according to CNN, we could see 4 separate aid bills reach the House floor this week. However, most Americans, according to a Gallup poll, see foreign policy as a minimal issue and take domestic issues as their top priority. But this press conference could have major implications for not the House, but the presidential election as well. Chile and Ben.
Thank you so much, Peter Barry. Coming up on Talking Points, a funding shortfall has forced the FCC to slash benefits beginning next month. How it will impact a lot of internet bills in our area, and we mean a lot. Next.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Dad, they took over my bedroom. Come on, come on. Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. You saved me.
okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Welcome back to Talking Points. There's a federal lifeline keeping many in our region connected. It's called the Affordable Connectivity Program, and most people who use it save about $30 a month, but their bills could rise next month as funding for the program runs out. Nearly 1.8 million households in New York State use the ACP. In our congressional district, New York's 22nd, it's over 80,000, with more than a quarter of those in the city of Syracuse, where no ACP could have a staggering impact. This boring little box, no blinking lights, no little sounds.
There's someone who does follow me on TikTok.
Connects Pagelyn Gagne to the world.
I got my following kind of out of dumb luck, but when I saw that I had that following, I decided to try to do something with it instead of just letting it sit there.
That box connects her with 103,000 TikTok followers, more than double a packed house at the JMA Wireless Dome. And until now, she's paid nothing for it. But soon, the government will make this vital necessity less affordable.
People now need internet for either job searching, for school, for their work, and it needs to be accessible.
The pandemic-era federal program that paid her bills is shutting down this month. It's called the Affordable Connectivity Program, or ACP. Verizon sent Pagelyn and others email after email, warning them this day was coming. She says some of her friends have already lost their free or discounted internet service. People in her building who still have internet are sharing it.
People are trying to team together in the building to chip in $10 here and there for access to their Wi-Fi.
The city of Syracuse says 4 out of 10 of your neighbors use this program that's ending. And once it ends, the city worries that everyone from seniors to students will lose their connections to everything from healthcare to homework.
If we, at this point, take away the internet from over 40% of the Syracuse population that are relying on this benefit, and the internet now becomes too expensive for them to afford, then we're taking away the opportunity for them to participate in being a contributing member of society.
The city of Syracuse runs a program called SurgeLink. It provides internet connections for $10 a month. The city used the federal government's money, the ACP, to pay the rest. When the ACP ends, the subsidies end with it.
We don't want the internet to be a choice between, whether or not students can do homework at home or whether or not someone needs to pay for groceries or daycare.
President Biden's asked Congress to continue funding the ACP. There is current bipartisan legislation proposed, but no plan so far to take it up for a vote. FCC Chairwoman Jessica Rosenworcel pleaded to Congress to keep this subsidy alive, saying in a letter, this program is the largest broadband affordability effort in our nation's history. Today, more than 23 million households nationwide count on it to get online and stay online, including vulnerable seniors, veterans, school-aged children, and residents of rural and tribal communities. She went on to say that despite the breadth of this support and the urgent need to continue this program to ensure millions of households nationwide do not lose essential internet access, no additional funding has yet been appropriated.
That savings matters in homes like the one I grew up in. Another $30, $40 a month was the difference between how many groceries you pay, the gas bill, all other necessities. It matters. It matters.
Time is running out. Within weeks, people like Pagelyn are going to have to decide whether to spend money to pay a bill they say they can't afford to stay connected, or let that little box in the corner that connects them to the world go dark. In Syracuse, I'm Chilekasi Adele, CitrusTV News. And one more note, Smart City Manager Vincent Scipione tells us the city is working to create a local benefit that will help those using the Smart Leak Municipal Broadband Program. That benefit would keep the cost at $10 per month. Let's move on now. Many of the country's largest media organizations have sent a letter to this year's presidential candidates asking them to commit to a public debate. ABC, CNN, NBC, Fox, and the AP are just a few of the organizations to co-sign the letter.
And former President Donald Trump notably has declined an invitation to all 4 Republican primary debates. It's still unclear whether Trump will debate Biden in the fall. The letter sent to the candidates reads, "There is one thing Americans can agree on during this polarized time. It is that the stakes of the election are exceptionally high," end quote. The organization added, quote, "Amidst the backdrop, there is simply no substitute for the candidates debating with each other and before the American people," end quote. And a new twist in a hacking incident that Microsoft revealed back in January has grown more serious as new details emerge.
Russian state-backed hackers stole email correspondence between U.S. government officials and Microsoft due to a breach in the software giant's system. Talking Points analyst Andrea Oates joins us now to chat about this developing story. Hey, Andy.
Thanks, Chile. Recently, there have been discoveries of Russian state-based hackers infiltrating email communications between U.S. government agencies. The technological breach involved the theft of emails, including login credentials like usernames and passwords. While there hasn't been much evidence of successful breaches into active federal computer systems, the incident has promoted urgency among Microsoft and U.S. cyber authorities. The hackers, notorious for their extensive intelligence gathering, were also behind the causes of other similar breaches of several U.S. agency email systems. The latest incident follows a similar pattern of foreign hacking, treating U.S. government agencies through vulnerabilities in similar Microsoft software. And it's also not the first time. It's also the Russian hackers have done this attack similarly on foreign nations in the past. At the beginning of the year, hackers launched attacks on sovereign nations like Sweden, Australia, and Ukraine. They also broke into Microsoft's corporate systems back in January. The breaches underscore the evolution of cybersecurity threats and emphasizes the critical need for tech companies and government agencies to develop more robust digital defenses.
You know, Andy, when you think of hacks, you think about how it may affect you at home or personally. What is the severity of the threat posed by this breach, and what actions are currently being taken to try and slow its impacts?
Yes, well, as we know, Ben, it's very evident that Russian-based hackers have taken this opportunity to steal communications between individuals who are representing the Microsoft company and U.S. government officials. As we know, stealing any type of personal authenticator information is considered a federal crime. We also know that Microsoft has admitted to making some errors within their technology that makes it easier for hackers to infiltrate their software, so that's definitely something to watch for as well. A CISA official actually told CNN personally that there's no evidence that hackers have used stolen credentials to successfully break into active computer systems, but it's definitely not a possibility that they are counting out just yet.
Andy, what is the possible long-term impact of this breach, and what steps can be taken in the future to prevent similar incidents?
Yes, well, I know what's very obvious, Chile, is that people no longer feel comfortable. They're obviously feeling unsafe now that hackers have, basic information to their private information. I think the first possibility that we definitely have to consider is people no longer want to use the Microsoft software. As I kind of mentioned earlier, back in 2020, a similar instance already happened. So people no longer want to use Microsoft, but they also no longer want to store their personal information on the internet as well.
Russia here. Has Russia responded to these incidents?
Interestingly enough, no, Ben, they haven't. Russia has made no comment on the incident thus far. And as I mentioned, the same Russian group who was behind the infamous breach done by many U.S. security systems back in 2020 is the same group who is currently being guilty now for this hack as well. So it's definitely raising a lot of eyebrows and pushing people to assume that the Russian hackers definitely are the cause for this. And we're all just currently waiting on some type of statement on their behalf.
Andrea Oates, thank you. Coming up on Talking Points, the state of Arizona is going backwards in history after reenacting a near total abortion ban. How officials are responding after the break.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. and move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Women are bad with money.
It's what the world's been saying for centuries.
But now, we've got something to say. Save it. Save the old-fashioned advice, the empty excuses. It's all worthless, unlike us.
To our fellow females, it is time to save ourselves by saving our money.
Contributing to our futures, investing in our independence.
Until we're no longer 80%
more likely than men to live in poverty in retirement. So again, we say to that, save it. The falsehoods, the feelings of fault. Then the funds.
Learn how to save for your retirement at wesaysaveit.org.
Welcome back into Talking Points. The Arizona Supreme Court gave the go-ahead last week to enforce a long-dormant law that bans nearly all abortions. The law provides no exceptions for rape or incest and allows abortions only if the mother's life is at risk.
Yeah. Talking Points analysts Alex Burstein and Harrison Calder join us now to talk about how this ban will drastically alter the landscape for terminating pregnancies in a state likely to have a key role in the presidential election. Guys, first of all, I want to start off with you, Harrison. What does this mean for other states as we head towards November, as we head towards the future?
There's so much going on with that. Good evening, Chile. So when we take a look at some of these other states, you see how this bill in Arizona is similar to how we see it in Arkansas, in Oklahoma, South Dakota, Texas, other states. The only difference between Arizona and these other 4 states, that Arizona went blue in 2020, the other 4 went red. So I think that's going to play a huge role in the decisions that are being made in Arizona and potentially who's in charge of these decisions. But we take a look at California Attorney General and see what he says about this situation. And he says, to Arizona women scared today, I promise, if you seek care in California, you will be protected here. That's a big statement he makes, and he wants people to know in Arizona that there are other options, even if the state does potentially look towards a red sway.
And Alex, let's turn to you, the Arizona Attorney General. She's a Democrat. Is she planning to enforce this? What is she saying about the abortion ban?
Yeah, she does not plan to enforce this right now because it's one of the rare times in Arizona. The top 3 positions, Secretary of State, Attorney General, and governorship, are all Democratic, and they obviously do not agree with that decision right now. She actually said to the press last week that she's not ready to enforce it, and that she thinks this is going to have really big election stakes coming up in November. Arizona, obviously a very important state, and we saw with California's Attorney General, other Attorney Generals are joining in and saying that women in that state can go to their states. Currently, the only state in the deep Southwest that's going to have abortion rights is New Mexico. So it'll be very interesting to see where some of these people go to try to get abortions if this does end up getting ruled in Arizona.
Yeah, and Arizona is one of those states, too, that you could consider very purple, but definitely purple trending blue. Again, what does this mean for November? Not just for the presidency, but also, I mean, you take a look at some of the contested Senate races we've had in Arizona in years past. What happens now?
Yeah, I mean, the Arizona Democrats have honed in on this really big, but we've even seen on the Republican side, former President Donald Trump has tried to distance himself from this decision, saying it's almost too much. But this is something that the Democrats have won on in 2022, and we've seen them win in local elections in 2023. This is a really big point in 2020. Biden only won this state by 11,000 votes, and this is something that they're really going to hone in on.
And when you look at a lot of surveys, the one issue that everyone loves to focus on and will often make their vote specifically on is abortion, and how important the issue is to how to get everybody on board with sticking with their side. It's going to decide whether people go blue, people go red, and it will make a difference in this election as well as future ones to come.
And you wonder, too, with how many people are apathetic towards these year's candidates, again, if it will serve as a huge driver, right?
And there's that big Senate race right now. Ruben Gallego, a congressman from Arizona who currently serves over Phoenix, and he's really honed on this. Abortion rights are a big thing for him, and that's a big Senate seat for if the Democrats want to keep the Senate blue. So that's another seat to watch along with the presidential election in Arizona.
Yeah, definitely. Alex, Harrison, thank you so much. Coming up on Talking Points, we reflect on the 4 amazing years we've had here. Oh, look, it's a little bit of Ben Schiller. We'll wrap up shop for real when we come back. Welcome back to Talking Points. We end tonight's show not with political content, but with a thank you. Over the last 4 years, it's been our pleasure to be on Talking Points every week. And some of the greatest memories that I've had at this station have been on this show and what we've done on the political spectrum too, not just with our Talking Points show, but with our election specials. For me, it's been the joy of my life, and it's been the first place where I really started to get involved in this wonderful place that is CitrusTV. I was an analyst my second semester freshman year before becoming Talking Points anchor, probably a lot earlier than I should have been, as you see some of the videos there with the wonderful Tegan Brown, who's kicking butt in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina now. But again, this show has really helped me become who I am today, and I'm thankful for all of that. And I'm thankful for you guys as well, who've been with me every step of the way, with Erica Love and Olivia Maniscalco too, who've also served as co-anchors of the show, and a lot of other people to thank too. Manny Martinez, Oscar Offerman, Michael Fenari, Mariah Humiston, Tegan Brown, plenty of the anchors and producers we've had over the years.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's been a pleasure. You guys have been my best friends on the show, and we grew up together.
Yeah.
We started off as freshmen coming in, helping out any positions we can on Talking Points, and now, you know, look at three of us. You see, that's me. That's me during my webisode.
We were on that webisode together.
Yeah. We were on that webisode together. That was me in my dorm room freshman year. That's me. That was my first time on Talking Points during a live show. That was during the election special in 2020. I can't believe we're in April of 2024.
Yeah.
I mean, we've come a long way. We were in masks at the time.
People forgot COVID.
Right.
We had to come in and deal with that.
That's how we grew up here at CitrusTV and Talking Points. But you know, my thanks goes out to a bunch of people with it. But most importantly, it's Josh Myers and Oscar Offerman, who asked me to be the executive producer of the show. I took over 3 years ago. Crazy to say, 3 years ago. I also want to thank Lindsay Fine, Dylan Brendel, Brandon Myers, the news directors who you know pretty much saw us grow up together essentially. And you especially, when I asked you to EP with me, this is fall of 2022, our junior year, you know, you were the first person I thought of, and I'm glad that we were able to do it together. It's been a pleasure. Chilekasi, Adele, it's been a pleasure anchoring with you as well. And Erica and Olivia as well.
And I will say it's been the most enjoyable 4 years of my life. I know we have a photo real quickly that I want to show, because this show is impossible without the entire crew, and we can talk all about the seniors, but it's really about everyone on the show, from the camera people to the audio to our amazing APs who cut everything you see on screen, to all of our amazing anchors besides you two who have done it in the past. There's so many crew positions that make the show possible, for all of us to look good on screen, and it's amazing to have worked with all the different years of people that we had on the show throughout the last
And
4.
again, all of our news directors too, Aaron Lyons, to Josh Myers, to Lindsay Fine, to Dylan Brendel, to currently Brandon Myers. The leadership we've had at this station has been impeccable. It's been wonderful. And our executive producer as well, co-executive producer Marguerite Bellotti, who's been amazing.
You know, show's in good hands, guys. And I'm looking forward to seeing the future of Talking Points. And that's the time we have for you on this episode of Talking Points with Jacob Goldberg. I'm Benjamin Schiller.
And I'm Chilekasi Adele. Please hug those you love tonight. We'll see you soon.